Hello everyone, and welcome to another EVGA on the Tube presentation. Today we're going to talk about a new product called the EVGA GeForce GTX 260 Core 216 version. And this product offers some improvements over the standard GTX 260, and we'll explain what it is in just a second. So here it is, the EVGA GTX 260 Core 216. As you can see, it looks similar to a standard GTX 260 graphics card. The main difference being performance. This card offers 216 processing cores compared to the standard GTX 260, which has 192. So for performance, this gives you about 10% performance increase. So let's take a look at the features that the card has to offer. On the top side of the EVGA Core 216 graphics card, you notice that there is two 6-pin power connectors. These connectors are recommended for general use. However, if your power supply does not have these connectors, EVGA does include an adapter which goes from 6-pin to a 4-pin Molex connector. Right next to that, we have the SPDIF connector. As many of you know, this is needed for audio out through HDMI. On the other side of the card, there's a pair of SLI connectors. One SLI connector is used if you're running in two-way SLI mode, and for three-way SLI you will need to use a special type of SLI connector which uses both of these SLI fingers. On the front side of the board we have DVI, DVI, and HDTV. For accessories, EVGA includes the standard installation guide, a driver CD with the EVGA Precision utility, a pair of 6-pin to 4-pin Molex connectors. As we discussed earlier, you will need these if your power supply does not have 6-pin power connectors, a DVI to VGA converter for those of you who still run analog monitors, a DVI to HDMI converter for those who run HDMI displays, and a SPDIF connector for those of you who want to run audio off that HDMI. And last but not least, a nice little EVGA Modrigs case badge. To install my EVGA Core 216 graphics card, I'm going to plug it into the primary PCI Express slot, which in most cases is the topmost slot. After that's done, I'm going to install the appropriate PCI Express connectors, which in my case is two 6-pin connectors, and like I mentioned earlier, if you don't have these connectors, use the provided EVGA adapter. And last but not least, I'm going to plug in my DVI connector into the primary slot, which is the bottom slot in most video cards. So in Windows, with using the provided EVGA Precision overclocking utility, we can see that the default card clocks for this version of the GTX 260 Core 216, which by the way is the superclocked model, the core clock is at 626 MHz, the shader clock is at 1350, and the memory clock is about 2100 MHz. As you can see, it's 1053. Since it's DDR memory, you times that by 2 to get an effective memory clock. So that would be 2100 MHz. Next, we're going to show some in-game PhysX demonstrations. So now we're going to demonstrate the NVIDIA PhysX Fluid demo. This is a demonstration which simulates water in real time. And traditionally, a particle-based effect such as this would be very difficult, if not impossible, to do on a standard CPU. However, with the power of the GPU and PhysX, we can do a much more fluid type simulation. So you can see here, using the EVGA Precision monitoring utility, I'm at about 35 frames per second or so. And so this is using PhysX technology on the GPU. Now let's turn off PhysX and see what a CPU would render this scene at. So now I'm rendering this scene on a CPU. I'm not using PhysX technology. It's all software driven, and you can see my frame rate has dropped substantially to about 4 frames per second or so. So the difference is clear with PhysX technology. Particle effects such as this is possible on current generation GPUs using PhysX technology. As demonstrated here, the EVGA Core 216 graphics card is an incredible value for the money. For more information on this video card, visit our website at www.evga.com, or for more information on PhysX, CUDA, and other technologies, visit the EVGA Force Within website. Thanks again for watching. For any feedback or video requests, go ahead and email me. See you later.